and don't express those things. And the other thing is, what I want to mention, and which is very important in these two readings, is emotions as an information system. This is not, and we still don't, even though we're getting better, we still don't look at this. If you think about going about your day-to-day life, and you think about your engagements and your activities, you'll realize that your emotions are active close to 100% of the time. You're always feeling something. You know, you might be feeling bored, you might be feeling happy, you might be feeling excited, you might be feeling a little low, depressed, but you're almost always feeling something. And those feelings may be connected to whatever you're doing, what you're involved in, who you're speaking to, what your thoughts are, because your thoughts can create your feelings. Your feelings can also feed back and create your thoughts. Your body, if you have a backache, for example, a terrible backache, it's likely that your emotional disposition is going to be a little bit more negative, right? But we typically think only about the brain, and only about whether somebody has a good idea or a bad idea. Will this work? Will this not work? Is this the plan we want to use? Those are all mental constructs. And we're not very good yet at getting information emotionally. And the truth is, the amount of information that's available emotionally is probably more, and it's probably more useful to us a lot of the time than the information that we get from the intellectual side of things. Because remember, the other thing, yeah, please, go ahead. Go ahead.
And,
yes.
how do you control your energy, right? If someone makes demand? How to?
It's interesting because, you know, I think that sometimes, because in this article, they talk, a second article, the Hatcher article, and McWilliams, I believe, McWilliams and Hatcher, they talk about the management of emotions. And I think, and E.I., Goldman and others talk about, you know, how to manage that, and the awareness. And the Buddha talks about that. You know, it's interesting, because some of the ideas these guys have are actually 2,500 years old. And the Buddha in his time talked about that awareness, right? And the whole idea that awareness, you can just become aware of what you're doing. And that awareness in itself is sometimes curative. It slows you down. But I think we have to be careful, because I think that management of emotions can be dangerous. If management means not lashing out, not doing something dangerous. If Jackie's upset me and I take her purse here and I throw it. If management means taking a breath, counting, stopping myself, thank you very much, Ms. Shearer, stopping myself from doing that, then that's probably useful. And we probably want to do it. Things like, you know, simple things like the counting to 10. If you are somebody that meditates, you say a mantra. You know, just Om, or whatever it is that you have, or God, for a Christian. Those things work. They're not long-term fixes, but they'll settle you down enough so that you can take a pause and think about it. But we have to be careful, because if management means everything is wonderful.
Yeah.
I love my life. I feel so wonderful about Jackie. Even though she said 3 things in the last 7 minutes to hurt my feelings, still I feel wonderful. I love Jackie. Even though she says horrible things to me, I still think she's great. If emotional management means that, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. It does several things. It kills who you are inside. And it gets where you can't express yourself, and that's dangerous. Okay, it's hurtful. It deprives other people of knowing the genuine you. Who you are doesn't get to be seen. Right? And it's also terrible because she's never going to get any feedback. She's not going to know that she did 3 things in the last 7 minutes to hurt my feelings. How would she know that? Right? Now, if she's reading about that, I was obviously faking to an extreme level. She probably would pick up on it. But people can fake a lot better than that, so you don't notice it. Right? So if management is, we call that a superficial personality. You guys know what superficial means? Is it somebody that only lives on the surface? They have no depth. Right? We call that superficial. Right? Superficial is that the person is not genuine. And so what happens with that is their life is all on the surface. Yes? It's surface only. So if they can fake it, you know, they're smiling all the time about, you know, even though Jackie said those things, she's wonderful. But there's no depth. I'm living, it's like living a lie, you see? And what happens with a person like that is, actually after a while, nobody takes them seriously. You know people like that. You know people like that in your businesses, you know people like that in your schools and so on. And you know what happens after a while is people don't take them seriously. And there's people like that get to the top of organizations too. It's not that they're necessarily restricted, but they're never taken seriously. You know, and what people do is they work around it. They start to work around it. Because you can't get, if I can't get, think about it this way. If I need to know how Valentine is feeling, or if I need to know how Fatima feels about something, and I can't get genuine information, I can't get it from them. Either because they won't tell me, because they lie to me, I'm not saying this personally, but I'm giving an example, okay? Or because they cover it up by saying everything's wonderful. Right? If I can't get genuine information from them, they're in my organization, say, or even my family, but let's say an organization, we'll talk about school, because we're talking about school. What am I going to do? After a while, Tom, what am I going to do? I can't get the information from them that I need, because they won't let me know how they feel. They won't give me feedback, either because they're hiding it, they're being superficial, or maybe they don't know how to express. Some people haven't learned how to be genuine emotionally. It's a skill. So what will I do? What am I going to do after a while? Imagine I'm a working colleague or even a principal. Let's say I'm a principal, and they're two of my teachers.
Be friendly.
I might be friendly for a while, but what am I going to do when I keep not getting the information?
I think the most important thing is the trust.
Okay, so there's no trust though, right? There's no trust at all there. So what am I going to do?
If I would, in that time I may not do anything.
Exactly. You're going to stop interacting with them, aren't you? You're going to stop. Eventually, I'll work with these two teachers over here that are going to give me some feedback. So they get pushed off into a corner. And is that going to make them feel better or worse?
Worse.
Worse. Right? So when you aren't expressive and you aren't listened to, you actually get worse and worse, like a vicious cycle, right? You just keep getting worse. Does that make sense? Okay? You see where that can go? That's why we talk about some of these things. These are critical. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up, and we're going to talk about how we're going to conduct ourselves for pretty much the remainder of the class. Okay? What I'm going to do is, and because I didn't have any wonderful scissors tonight, we don't have quite the materials here sometimes maybe we need, but that's okay. And we're going to have to cut down quite a bit, because I was hoping we'd have at least 10 so we could do 5 questions. But we only need to have 1 question for 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6, 7. Of course, a lot of numbers too, to make it a little worse, but that's okay. Because what I want to do is I want to go through. You guys remember the questions that you got? I sent them to you in an email a while ago. Okay, that's okay. If you don't remember the questions, you will remember them in a minute when I give them to you again. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to pick the ones that I want to pull out because I can't do all of these now because of the numbers we have here. Let me see. Okay, that one's important, so I need that one. Okay. That question we need to do. That question we need to do, so we're going to take that one.